Now, with these bombshell revelations in mind, I wanted to just mention some of the most compelling evidence of encounters of the third kind. That means cases that involve direct contact with alleged non-human entities. While such claims of alien encounters were once dismissed as outlandish, Rush's sworn testimony about recovered non-human biologics forces us to reevaluate these historical cases with fresh eyes. We have the 1994 aerial school incident in Zimbabwe, the 1996 Virginia, Brazil incident, and the abduction cases of Betty and Barney Hill, as well as Travis Walton. And I've written essays on each of these cases. I could probably speak about them each for 10 minutes, but for now, I'll just say they're all very compelling documentaries on each of these cases that I implore you all to go watch. And lastly, in part one, we have the Bob Lazar story. So in 1989, Bob Lazar claimed that he worked at a classified facility called S4 near Area 51, where he was tasked with reverse engineering UFO propulsion systems that utilized an element not yet discovered, element 115, Moscavian, which actually was not added to the elemental chart until 2004, about 15 years after he mentioned it. And when Lazar first came forward, his claims about a highly compartmentalized reverse engineering program at Area 51 seemed quite far-fetched, but with Grush's testimony in mind about multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs, this has transformed Lazar's account from seemingly outlandish to eerily prescient. And Lazar said the craft's ability to manipulate gravity suggests a form of free energy and a fundamental breakthrough in physics that would render current energy systems obsolete. So that paves the natural transition to part two about Nikola Tesla's suppressed free energy ambitions. His pursuit of free energy technology is perhaps the most significant case of technological suppression in history. Initially, he was Thomas Edison's colleague and then competitor in the race to electrify America by the light bulb, but his trajectory changed dramatically when he shifted his focus from commercial electricity to free energy. And when Tesla revealed these ambitions to J.P. Morgan and John Rockefeller, who essentially owned the entire fossil fuel industry in the form of General Electric, Copper Mines, AT&T, and Standard Oil, they not only pulled his funding, but actively blacklisted him from getting other investments. So Morgan and Rockefeller were expecting Tesla to develop technology for transmitting energy that could be metered and sold, but instead he wanted to create a system of free energy that anyone could access, and they recognized this as an existential threat to their empires and acted accordingly. But despite this opposition, Tesla remained obsessed with realizing his vision of free energy, and up until his death in 1943, when the Office of Alien Property seized all of his files immediately upon his death, with many of his documents remaining classified to this day. And so, during the latter years of his career, Tesla intensely studied the Great Pyramids because he believed they represented evidence of a lost civilization that had mastered the same free energy technology he was striving to rediscover. This has been recently popularized by Christopher Dunn's Giza power plant theory, which states that the pyramids were not tombs, but rather sophisticated power plants that could harness and transmit electromagnetic energy. And in addition to the impossible size and sophistication of the pyramids at the time, it's clear they defy our understanding of ancient capabilities and suggest a level of scientific knowledge that simply shouldn't have existed at their mainstream archaeological date of 2500 BC. For one, the pyramid is a scale model of the Earth. The pyramid's dimensions, when multiplied by 43,200, which is a number that's connected to the precession of Earth's equinoxes, yields both the Earth's polar radius and equatorial circumference. But perhaps the most absurd fact about the Great Pyramid, that its latitude at 29.9792458 degrees north matches the speed of light exactly at 299,792,458 meters per second, which is said not to be discovered until 1676. So in my mind, to suggest this as coincidence just strains the bounds of rational thought, that the most fundamental constant in physics, the speed of light, would be encoded to the exact coordinates of the most technically advanced and mathematically precise structure in human history can only point to one conclusion. That's that the builders possess scientific knowledge that would not be rediscovered for millennia. On that note, much like the reality of UFOs challenges our understanding of current technology, the existence of the Great Pyramids completely undermines conventional archaeological narratives, but the evidence for an ancient global civilization becomes even more compelling when we look beyond Egypt to other megalithic sites across the world. One of the most striking examples is the mathematical relationship between the Great Pyramid of Giza and the Pyramid of Sun in Teotihuacan, Mexico. Despite supposedly being built by completely unconnected civilizations, the Pyramid of the Sun has identical base dimensions to the Great Pyramid and measures exactly half of its height. Even more astonishing is the precise astronomical alignment between these structures. At the exact moment of the last ray of sunlight that sets the Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico, the first ray of sunshine touches the Great Pyramid at the same exact time. Additionally, the discoveries of massive megalithic sites like Göbekli Tepe, which is said to be at least 12,000 years old, and new evidence of water erosion in the Sphinx, which suggests an age of at least 12,000 years old, points to a missing chapter in human history. This global architectural synchronicity combined with the inexplicable mathematical properties of the pyramids suggests we're recovering evidence of a sophisticated worldwide civilization that existed before recorded history, and what we believe is the beginning of human civilization may actually just be a reboot after the Younger Dryas Cataclysm in 9600 BC. Tesla's obsession with both free energy and the Great Pyramids suggests he may have recognized what we're only beginning to understand, that an advanced civilization once possessed this revolutionary energy technology that was lost or deliberately hidden. And just as Tesla's research was seized and classified upon his death, and just as the highly suspicious Göbekli Tepe excavation was halted after just 5%, you see the same pattern of suppression with the UFO phenomenon. And now, unfortunately, the suppression of energy technology, free energy technology, does not end with Tesla. Throughout the 20th century, there's been multiple inventors who made breakthroughs in alternative energy that have met suspicious and untimely deaths. Stanley Meyer developed a car that could run on water, and his alleged dying words, "They poisoned me," along with the mysterious disappearance of his research papers and prototypes, suggest he met the same fate as other inventors who threatened the energy status quo. Eugene Malov, Mark Tomian, Stefan Marinov, and Dmitry Petronov were all on the verge of breakthroughs in cold fusion, plasma batteries, and free energy, and they all died under questionable circumstances just as their technology was beginning to gain attention. And so if this was an isolated incident, or even two, I could dismiss it as a coincidence, but the sheer number of inventors who have met untimely deaths just as their technologies approached viability, combined with a consistent pattern of their research materials vanishing and their work never seeing implementation, reveals a systematic effort to suppress these technologies. And so in each case, we see the same sequence. An inventor makes significant progress on alternative energy technology, attracts attention or investment, approaches the point of public demonstration or commercialization, and then dies under questionable circumstances and has their research material disappear. This repeating pattern suggests an organized effort to prevent free energy technology from ever reaching the public, which could be a continuation of the same forces that drove Tesla to poverty and seized his research upon death. Now, Dr. Stephen Greer's documentary, The Lost Century, presents a compelling argument that the systematic suppression of UFO information has cost humanity far more than just knowledge about extraterrestrial life, that has actually deprived us of this revolutionary technology that could transform human civilization. One takeaway quote from the documentary: "Between the late 1800s and now, ingenious inventions and sciences have all been ruthlessly suppressed and confiscated. This lost century of technologies that have existed and vanished is the biggest cover-up scandal in the history of the world." According to Greer, many of these advanced technologies that have already been developed within classified programs at major defense contractors like Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works, Raytheon, and other aerospace companies, but they're perpetually black-shelved and hidden from public view, insinuating that this breakthrough energy technologies are not just theoretical possibilities, but existing realities kept hidden through a combination of corporate acquisitions, inventor intimidation, and strategic suppression. And Greer also claims this technology could potentially solve global challenges of water scarcity, pollution, and poverty overnight. However, this very potential is the explanation for the fierce opposition to their development, as such technologies would render obsolete the entire trillion-dollar fossil fuel industry and the centralized power grid infrastructure. So whether through extraterrestrial contact, rediscovery of ancient knowledge, or modern innovation, the technologies to transform our world appear to exist. The only question is whether humanity will finally break free from these forces that have kept them hidden for so long. To sum things up, the synthesis. As whistleblowers continue to come forward and public pressure for answers intensifies, we appear to be approaching a tipping point in the century-long UFO secrecy. The pattern that emerges across this investigation, from ancient megalithic sites encoding advanced scientific knowledge to Tesla's suppressed research to modern UFO encounters, suggests that revolutionary energy technologies have been repeatedly discovered and systematically buried throughout human history. Whatever the origin of this UFO tech, its suppression represents a far greater conspiracy than extraterrestrial contact itself, as has deprived humanity of transformative solutions to our energy, environmental, and poverty challenges. The question is no longer whether UFOs exist, but whether humanity can finally break free from the forces that have kept these technologies hidden and reclaim our stolen century of progress.